The studio lights burned hot, brighter than Jason Statham expected. He'd done movie sets, red carpets, late-night shows, but this felt different. There was an edge in the air, a hum that said anything could tip the wrong way with one careless word. The audience applauded as he took his seat, polite but curious, sensing tension before it even had a name. Joy Behar leaned back in her chair, cards in hand, eyes sharp with that familiar mix of humor and challenge. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "So, Jason," she began, voice light, "you've made a career playing tough guys who solve problems with fists and explosions. Do you ever worry you're glorifying violence?" Jason tilted his head slightly, listening. He didn't interrupt. Years of interviews had taught him patience. Let people talk, show their cards. He folded his hands together, calm, almost relaxed. "Well," he said evenly, "they're films. Stories. No one walks out thinking that's real life." Joy chuckled. "Some people do. Especially young men. Don't you think there's a responsibility there?" The audience murmured softly. Jason felt the shift. This wasn't casual banter anymore. He kept his tone measured. "There's responsibility in everything. But acting isn't parenting. It's storytelling." Joy raised an eyebrow. "That sounds like an easy way to dodge accountability." A few gasps rippled through the crowd. Jason's jaw tightened, not in anger, but focus. He leaned forward just a touch. Respectfully, he said, stressing the word, "I'm not dodging anything. I've worked hard, trained hard, and I take my craft seriously." Joy smiled again, sharper this time. "Craft? Or just selling the same tough guy fantasy over and over?" Jason paused. The cameras zoomed in. Somewhere off stage, a producer shifted nervously. This was the moment where most guests laughed it off or deflected with a joke. Jason didn't. "You know," he said slowly, "I grew up watching actors who played heroes, villains, everything in between. No one assumed that's who they were as people." Joy waved a hand. "Times change." "Yes," Jason nodded, "but respect shouldn't." The word hung in the air. The audience quieted, sensing something real unfolding. Joy leaned forward now, clearly not backing down. "So are you saying critics should just stay quiet?" Jason shook his head. "Not at all. I'm saying criticism's fair. Dismissal isn't." Joy laughed, a short sound. "Dismissal? When you reduce years of work to a stereotype," Jason replied. "That's dismissal." There was a beat of silence. Jason could feel his heart steady, his voice grounded. He wasn't here to fight. He was here to be clear. Joy glanced at her notes. "Well, some would argue your films don't offer much depth." Jason smiled faintly. "Some would. Others find motivation, discipline, escapism. Who decides which audience matters?" The crowd broke into applause before Joy could respond. She waited it out, lips pressed thin. "You're very confident," she said when it died down. "Confidence comes from knowing who you are," Jason answered. "And who you're not." Joy tilted her head. "And who are you not?" "Someone who deserves to be talked down to," he said calmly. The audience gasped, then applauded louder, longer. Jason kept his expression neutral, but inside he felt a line had been crossed and finally corrected. Joy straightened in her chair. "I'm not talking down." "Then let's keep it respectful," Jason cut in, still calm, but firm now. "Show some respect." The words landed like a dropped glass. Not shouted, not angry, just solid, unavoidable. For a moment, no one spoke. The cameras held on Joy. Then on Jason. The studio felt frozen. Joy exhaled, forcing a smile. "All right. Fair enough." Jason nodded once, polite. The tension didn't vanish, but it shifted. He leaned back, signaling he was done pushing. He'd said what needed to be said. The audience applauded again, this time not out of surprise, but approval. Somewhere backstage, a producer finally breathed out. Jason glanced around the set, the lights, the people watching so closely. He wasn't here to win an argument. He was here to stand his ground without losing himself. And for the first time that morning, the room felt quiet, not tense, just aware that something honest had just happened.